The shuttle descended through the skies of House Dawnfall beneath clear blue clouds. Kenny stood near the cockpit window watching the world below. The difference between now and the first time he had visited was almost unbelievable. Green, everywhere. Fields stretched across valleys that had once been dead earth. New roads connected settlements. Windmills rotated lazily in the distance. Several lakes reflected sunlight back toward the sky. Life. The planet finally looked alive. Beside him, Plum pressed herself against the viewport. Her eyes were wide, wondering, searching, remembering. Every few seconds she pointed at something. I remember that hill. A few moments later. That's where our old market was. Then, I used to play near that river. Each memory seemed to make her smile a little more. Aaron sat nearby, quietly watching her. The leader of Dawnfall looked almost emotional every time the young girl remembered another piece of her old life. The shuttle finally touched down. Outside, thousands waited.
The entire settlement seemed to have turned up. Word had spread quickly. People knew why Kenny had returned. They knew who was on board. The moment the landing ramp lowered, the crowd surged forward. Not dangerously, desperately, hopefully. Kenny stepped down first. Then Plum appeared behind them. The reaction was immediate. A woman somewhere inside the crowd screamed, "Plum!" The little girl froze. Her eyes widened. Then she saw her. A woman broke through the crowd, crying, sobbing, running so hard she nearly fell twice. "Plum!" The little girl started crying immediately. "Mom!" The distance disappeared. Mother and daughter collided. The woman scooped Plum up into her arms and held her so tightly it looked like she never intended to let go again. Both cried uncontrollably. The crowd around them started crying too. Several former mutants wiped tears away. Others openly sobbed, because they understood. All of them understood. The woman eventually looked toward Kenny, still holding Plum, still crying.
"Thank you." Another tear rolled down her face. "Thank you." Kenny walked over, gently placed a hand on her shoulder, then on Plum's head. "It's okay." The woman shook her head. "No, she was crying too hard to properly speak. You gave me my daughter back." Kenny smiled softly. "No." He looked toward Plum. She did the hard part. The little girl looked confused. Kenny grinned. "You were brave." Plum immediately buried her face into her mother's shoulder, embarrassed. The crowd laughed. Then another small figure appeared. Ellie, the former mutant girl's best friend, the birthday girl herself. She ran forward so fast Aaron barely managed to step aside. "Plum!" Plum looked up. Her eyes widened. "Ellie!" The two girls collided next, neither caring that Plum was still half hanging from her mother's arms. They hugged, laughed, cried, talked over one another, trying to fit years of separation into a few seconds. The adults around them didn't even try hiding their emotions anymore. The entire scene felt like a reward, a payoff, proof that everything Reach had done mattered. Eventually, Aran stepped beside Kenny. The village leader looked toward the reunited girls, then toward the cheering crowd, then toward the recovering world surrounding them. "Ready?" Kenny smiled. "Ready." Aaron nodded. The announcement spread quickly. The cheering doubled, then tripled, because the people finally understood. Their leader wasn't leaving permanently. He was going to become official. The crowd began chanting, first quietly, then loudly, then thunderously. "Aaron! Aaron! Aaron!" Others began shouting Kenny's name. The chants mixed together, echoing across the settlement. Kenny laughed. Aaron looked horrified. "I hate attention. You're about to become a house leader. I know. You should probably get used to it." Aaron groaned. The pair boarded the shuttle. The crowd erupted again. People waved. Children chased the lifting ship. The celebrations continued even after they left orbit. The journey to Earth took several hours. Most of it passed in relaxed conversation. Aaron asked dozens of questions, mostly about Earth, the Emperor, the ceremony, the politics, the expectations. Eventually he became quiet. Kenny noticed. "Nervous?" Aaron laughed, terrified. That answer earned a grin. The leader shook his head. "A year ago I was trying to stop people from drinking poisoned water." Another laugh. "Now I'm becoming a house leader." Kenny folded his arms. "That's how life works sometimes." Aaron pointed. "No, another point. That's how your life works." The pair laughed. Hours later, Earth finally appeared. The capital world, the heart of the Empire, as always. It looked magnificent. Massive cities stretched across continents. Countless ships moved through orbit, the center of civilization. The shuttle landed directly within the Imperial District. Thousands already waited. News crews, citizens, government officials, representatives from countless worlds. The Emperor had clearly made this event public, very public. The moment Iran stepped from the ship, the cheering started.
The poor man nearly walked straight back inside. Kenny laughed. Too late. Aaron looked genuinely overwhelmed. A procession escorted them toward the central plaza, the same place where Kenny himself had once stood, the same place where Reach had been officially recognized. History repeating itself. Only this time, Kenny stood in the audience, not the center. The Emperor waited atop the ceremonial platform, dressed in full imperial regalia. The crowd eventually settled. The Emperor stepped forward. His voice echoed throughout the city. Today, the cheering stopped. Today we witnessed something rare. The crowd listened carefully. Today we witness hope. The Emperor gestured toward Iran. One world fell, another gesture. One world suffered, another. One world survived. The crowd erupted. The Emperor smiled, then continued. For generations, no new house entered the empire. He looked toward Kenny. Then came House Reach. The audience cheered loudly. The Emperor nodded. And now, he turned back toward Iran. For the first time since House Reach was born, the Emperor raised his voice. A new house rises. The crowd exploded. Aaron looked completely overwhelmed. The Emperor lifted the ceremonial crest, the symbol of House Dawnfall, a rising sun breaking over a horizon. Beautiful, simple, perfect. The Emperor placed it into Iran's hands, then spoke the words, Aaron of Dawnfall. The plaza became silent by the authority of the imperial crown. Another smile. I recognize House Dawnfall as a legitimate house of the empire. The crowd erupted. People screamed, people cheered. Fireworks exploded above the city. News drones swarmed overhead. The celebration instantly became galaxy-wide. Across countless worlds, people watched. The first new house in years, a world reborn, a miracle recognized. The festivities continued long into the evening. Meanwhile, light years away, Lord Rain sat cross-legged beside a challenge campfire. The Eclipse games continued around him. The old man absent-mindedly strummed his guitar. A nearby camera crew discussed the news. House Dawnfall, the celebrations, the rebirth of the dead world. One cameraman laughed. Imagine. Another laugh. That place actually became successful. The crew continued chatting, not realizing Lord Rain was listening. The old man's fingers stopped moving across the strings. Slowly. A smile appeared. Not a happy smile. A dangerous one. He chuckled softly. The camera crew immediately became nervous. Lord Rain stared into the fire. Little do they know. His grin widened. My entire army is waiting. The old man laughed quietly. The sound wasn't pleasant. Years ago he had discovered something unexpected. The mutation serum had evolved. So had he. Every time he transformed fully, the connection strengthened. The mutants had become linked. Not perfectly, not constantly, but enough. He could guide them, influence them, command them, like a hive. The old man stared into the flames. They think they won. His smile widened further. A laugh escaped him. Wait until I give the order. The old man resumed playing his guitar, already imagining the destruction, already imagining the chaos, already imagining his hidden army sweeping across Dawnfall. He never once considered another possibility. He never once questioned whether the connection still existed. Never once imagined that every mutant had already been cured. Never once realized his army no longer existed. And far away on a world celebrating its future, thousands of former mutants laughed, cried, reunited with families, built homes, started new lives, completely unaware that the man responsible for their suffering still believed they belonged to him. The irony would have been hilarious if it wasn't going to be so dangerous when he finally discovered the truth.